While troubles in the agrarian economy continue to remain in focus, with over 110 farmer bodies planning a nationwide strike from the 1st to the 10th of June. The farmers are demanding higher rates for their produce, complete loan waivers, payouts to small farmers that match their income with that of a Class 4 government employee, and lifting the ban on cow slaughter. The strike has been called by the Rashtriya Kisan Mahasangh, which is the umbrella organization for these farmers' outfits. As part of the strike, farmers have been told to stop selling their produce, including milk and vegetables, during that period. This comes in the backdrop of a warning by farmers in Gujarat saying that they will resort to violent protests. The issue began on the 1st of April when the Gujarat Power Corporation Limited claimed possession of 1,414 hectares of land in 12 villages. The villagers say that the land has been unutilized for 21 years and, according to the 2013 Act, should be returned to owners. While the government says it has compensated farmers, many say the land was forcibly taken away from them. To discuss the issues at hand, we're now joined by an eminent panel of experts. Yogendra Yadav, President of Swaraj Abhiyan. Also on the show with us, P. Chengal Reddy, Chief Advisor of the Consortium of the Indian Farmers Association, Ashok Dhavle, President of the All India Kisan Sabha, and my colleague Manisha Gupta also here with us. Mr. Dhavle, let me start by asking you, because I am given to understand that while 110 farmers organizations have decided to participate in this movement starting the 1st of June, people like Swaraj Abhiyan and Yogendra Yadav are not on board with it. Give me a sense of whether you believe this is the best way forward, or do you believe that this is a measure of last resort?
See, as far as the All India Kisan Sabha is concerned, we have taken a decision since the 1st of June is the first anniversary of the historic farmers' strike in Maharashtra. The All India Kisan Sabha, along with some other organizations, have given a call for a gherav of government offices, the district collectorates and the tehsil offices all over Maharashtra. That is the call that we have given. We have limited ourselves to the 1st of June. The issues are extremely serious, there's no doubt. As you said just now, in Gujarat, this 1,400 hectares being taken from the farmers, them not being given the thing 20 years, 21 years, nothing has been built up over there. I think that's a very major issue, number one. The question of land acquisition all over the country for the industrial corridors, for the bullet train from Ahmedabad to Mumbai, for the expressway from Vadodara to Mumbai. All this, a lot of land is sought to be taken, and on this the All India Kisan Sabha is fighting back. Regarding the question of loan waiver, regarding the question of remunerative prices, the All India Kisan Sabha is part of the All India Kisan Sangharsh Samanvay Samiti, which only yesterday gave a memorandum to the President of India, submitted two important bills, one on the loan waiver, one on the remunerative prices, which we are going to table before Parliament in the next session. We also demanded a special session of Parliament for discussing the agrarian crisis and the farmer suicides. So this is the position that we are taking. The position is extremely grave. More than 3 lakh farmers have committed suicide already in the last 25 years of neoliberal policies, and therefore definitely the farmers are up in arms, and they will certainly be up in arms in the coming days against the BJP, RSS, Narendra Modi regime. There is no doubt about this.
Okay, you're saying that there are a whole host of issues, from land acquisition to remunerative prices to loan waivers. You're demanding a special session of Parliament to discuss the agrarian crisis. Mr. Chengal Reddy, let me come to you. Do you believe that this effort to try and go on this non-cooperation movement from the 1st of June to the 10th of June is something that you would support? And B, while I understand that the issues that are being raised, and I just listed out a whole host of them, as Mr. Dhavle was pointing out, these are serious issues, but is this the best way to be able to remedy these issues? The fact that we are now going to see farmers go on a nationwide strike virtually, cutting off all access to any produce in that period.
See, the reason is in the last 30-40 years, the farmers' distress have been continuing. Way back in 1980, Mr. Tikayat, Saraj Joshi, Nanjunda Swami, and then Narayan Swami Naidu, many of them, they went on strikes. The difference between present situation and what was happened in 20-30 years back was slightly different. In those days, we used to have a great leaders. and they led these farmers' movements on specific issues. But today it's slightly different. In the last 2 years, what happened? Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, Karnataka, all over the country, farmers started agitating. Mainly on, there was no profitable price. And incidentally, what happened, one of the probably the person who is responsible for this farmers' movement is Mr. Narendra Modi himself. You see what happened? Modi in 2014 went on saying that he will pay MSP plus 50%. He spoke in every meeting. It was included in BJP manifesto. Well, within 1 year, he went back. Then later on, people started striking. Now, you see today, whether it is not, the organizations apart, yes, there are very good number of organizations across the country, hundreds and hundreds of them. They are all committed for the farmers. But there are two common things today. First and foremost is our demands are uniform. Maybe 2, 3 are okay, but whether it is loan waiver or MSP or Swaminathan report and all that, these two demands are one thing. Second thing, you see, we have a lot of communication channels today. You see, WhatsApp or communication, we are able to exchange with each other. The only difference today is some organizations want a 10-day strike, whereas some organizations want every month for about next 3-4 months, you organize a strike on 1st of every month, give notice to Mr. Modi, 30 days time. If he doesn't accept, then again on July 1st, again on August 1st, again on September 1st, give him 3-4 months time, because government seems to have not able to understand, nor even public, nobody is able to understand whether farmers can go on strike at all. This has never happened in Indian history of farmers. But for the first time, it's going to happen, and everyone is anxious to see, including the TV, media, everybody. And the effect of it is going to be very, very interesting, because I am also a farmers activist. I never had opportunity to mobilize all the farmers. It's all come up voluntarily, and it is going to be there. It's part. The only thing is, let me tell you one thing. It's not like labor union strike for 1 day, 24 hours or 40 years. Nonsense. Today, it has started. It's like a movement. It's like a French Revolution. Farmers have come to understand, let me say, about 15-20% farmers across the country, especially the leaders, educated elite, they are all understood what is Swaminathan and what is how the political parties has let down them and what is the recourse. Now they have taken the recourse, and over the period of next 6 months, maybe 1 year, 2 years, they are all going to work together.
Okay, so you're saying that
it's going to be an online, it's going to be a continuous program. It's going to be a continuous program.
It is going to be a okay, so it's not just going to be a 1-day nationwide strike or a 10-day nationwide strike. You're saying that this will consistently play itself
I will give you the reason. Hello, one second. Just 1 second. You hear me? You hear me?
Yes.
No, please hear me. The reason why, the reason why farmers don't trust is, in 2006, the Congress regime, Swaminathan report came. This Rajiv Gandhi and his mother, none of them spoke. And in 2014, Mr. Modi came and made a lot of speeches and then included it in BJP manifesto. Both the political parties have failed. And Swaminathan report, there are umpty number of issues which the states have to implement. For example, a state commissions on agriculture issues, commodity boards, even the state. I can tell you one thing. Nobody knows what is the Swaminathan report except a few farmers leaders here and there. Only thing is Mr. Modi and everybody thinks they can carry away or you can use this occasion for election purpose. But this time farmers are going to prove them absolutely wrong, and we are going to teach especially these politicians, a lesson. Right.
You will teach politicians a lesson, Yogendra Yadav. That's the word in from both Mr. Dhable as well as Mr. Chengal Reddy. Yogendra, you've got a big smile on your face. You know, whether or not farmers of India go through with this promise of or the threat of a nationwide strike for the first 10 days of June, and whether this is going to be carried forward, as Mr. Chengal Reddy is pointing out, month after month till their demands are met. Something has changed in the way that farmers are addressing the agrarian crisis, in the way that farmers are now demanding what they believe is rightfully theirs. Something has changed, something has shifted in the manner in which farmers are engaging with the political class.
Absolutely, Shireen. Something has changed, and it's changed for good. There is intensity of pain, there is a realization of pain, and there are multiple attempts at trying to address it. And the attempts are so many that anyone can get confused. So, first of all, a clarification. We are talking of two very, very different things here. One is a call for 1 day given by Mr. Ashok Dhable's organization, AIKS. Remember, this is the organization that had arranged that long march to Mumbai, closely affiliated to CPIM. one-day program, which is in the nature of gherav of collector's office, because the Maharashtra government has reneged on the promises that it made during the Long March. That's very specific, only Maharashtra, one organization, and we are with it in principle. The second thing that you are discussing, which is very, very different, and these two things have nothing to do with each other, is this thing that I read in the media about from 1st to the 10th, a demand for bandh, sometimes holiday, or blockade of things to urban areas. I hear about in the media, but I just want to clarify that All India Kisan Sangharsh Samanvay Samiti, of which Mr. Dhavle's organization is also a part, AIKSCC has nothing to do with that call from 1st to 10th June. We are not opposing it. Anything for farmers is good. We give them best wishes. But I think the important question there would be to, and I'm sure they have done work, and the point is the intensity of pain is so much that everyone is trying to find their own ways of protesting it. Just 5 minutes ago, I read that farmers of East UP are planning a march from 31st May. That's an entirely different organization. So you're right. Something is changing in farmers' politics. Farmers are not just sitting back and saying, oh my God, I've been looted. No, they're doing something about it. And to my mind, that is far more important than labels, who does what, who gets credit. The fact is, farmers have woken up. And to my mind, that's critical.
Sure. Well, your point is well taken.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Shireen. Well, yes, there are many associations, as Mr. Yadav was pointing out, and each one with their own agenda, and it does meet somewhere in the middle there. But Mr. Khan, my question is to you. As everybody on the panel has said, that this protest is for real and will continue, and we will perhaps continue to see many protests here. My question really is that the concerns are real. We are looking at the prices below MSP, somewhere the commodity prices are below the cost of production as well. But yet again, how much of a financial loss are we looking at the farmers when they're out protesting? Because this is a time when there's an advent of monsoon. This is the time when the farmers would want to go out and start sowing, etc. So how are they actually going to go ahead with the protests and the farming on the other side, really?
No, I think the concerns are very genuine, and crop after crop, if you look at, there are problems. Look at around Delhi, starting with the potato crop, which farmers got 2-3 rupees per kg. Of course, in the recent few days, the prices have improved. Similarly, look at the sugar cane. The payments have been delayed by 3 months, 4 months, 6 months. The prices of milk have dropped this year by 5 to 7 rupees.
Yes.
Similarly, the prices of tomato, chili, and many other crops. So the growth in the agriculture sector in the last 4 years has been less than 2%, which was little better, 3.5% earlier. So I think this is reflecting into farmers' deepening crisis and the problem that we all talk about. Now about this protest, I think now the farmers are getting organized, and there are a large number of farmers' organizations, and the social media is playing its role. So as Yogendra was saying, that farmers are no longer willing to sit back and curse to their own fate and then looking something from the government. Now they are protesting. Swaminathan Commission report that has become a reference point to talk about. In fact, much of it government has accepted.
But sir, but Mr. Khan, it has been a reference point for years now, sir. We've been having this debate over the Swaminathan Commission's recommendations, implementations for years now, as Mr. Chengal Reddy was pointing out. But, you know, let me ask the three of you this question, and let me start by asking you, Yogendra, you know, we've just seen the government go on this blitzkrieg celebrating and marking the milestones of the 4 years of being in office. And one of the issues that they've highlighted is the fact that there's been record bumper production, which leads people to say that, you know, on one side you have bumper production, on the other side, as Mr. Khan was saying, you've got prices that are consistently declining, 2 rupees, 3 rupees a kilo for tomatoes. Sugarcane continues to be an area of concern. Milk, we've seen a decline. You know, so agricultural sector has seen a decline, as has been very clearly articulated by this year's economic survey. How do you then collate the two, Yogendra, is the question that a layperson would ask.
Absolutely. For the last 70 years, agriculture policy of this country is focused on production, not on producer. We still live in the days of 1960s when there was a serious production crisis and the country went through pretty humiliating times. I understand that. After that, the policymakers started focusing on production. Now, every year the government tom-toms these figures of production as if the farmers have been enthused by the government to produce more. I mean, there's so much else happening. The real question ought to be, does the farmer gain from this? And as all of us on this panel agree, just look at this year's situation. The marketing season has just been over, the Rabi marketing season. And remember, the finance minister and the prime minister of this country had made a promise: we shall ensure minimum support price.
Absolutely.
I challenge everyone on this show, and I had challenged the Niti Aayog chairman in his office. Please find me one mandi of this country. In that mandi, please select one crop of your choice and show me that the farmers are getting minimum support price. Now, that is only for minimum support price. Now, crops outside that, tomato, garlic. I mean, the story of garlic is something which should bring, it's heart-wrenching story. They sold it for 10,000 rupees a quintal 2 years ago, 7,000 rupees a quintal last year, and 200 rupees a quintal this year. I mean, how can they survive possibly? Milk, the last thing that the farmer depends on and survives when everything else fails, milk has collapsed. I mean, so the real situation is simply not reflected, and all these bogus claims, I'm afraid I have to call them bogus, all these bogus claims have nothing to offer to the farmers.
Okay, Mr. Chengal Reddy, I want to take that point across and then I'll come across to you, Manisha. You know, what is going on? Yogendra gave us several examples there. Garlic has gone down from 10,000 rupees a quintal to 200 rupees this year is the claim that Yogendra Yadav is making, and he gave us several other examples as well. Forget the MSP issue. What is leading to this kind of price collapse on the ground?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Now, we must understand fundamentally in this country in the last 50, 60 years, nobody owns responsibility for agriculture. Now, I will ask you a question or the panel or tomorrow you have to need to discuss who is responsible, who is holding the powers in regard to agriculture development or problems. Look at anytime every finance minister and union finance minister says agriculture is a state subject. Bloody nonsense. See, your entire banking system, your entire commerce, your entire duties, your entire exports, every damn thing is with this government of India. Now, for the last 40, 50 years, these fellows sitting in Delhi, they have been systematically killing the farm sector. How? The moment if the price of any damn thing goes up, immediately they will ban exports. If there is some problem, they will start import. Do you know there is no consistent policy with these chaps in government of India? None of these ministries, either commerce or agriculture, any of these chaps. What is a long-term program for any particular thing? Way back in 1980s, Mr. Rajiv Gandhi started what you call it, technology mission for oil seeds. Within 5 years, it collapsed. Every prime minister or a minister comes and starts his own good games and goes. Now, I'll tell you 2, 3 fundamental things in agriculture. Agriculture is being considered as a subservient to the organized sectors, whether in terms of food production, food supply, or raw material, or for whatever it is. The second aspect is that farmers have been systematically divided for political reasons and other. Last but not least is a very critical aspect, let me tell you or I ask you, can discuss later. Since 1990, industry and farm sector has shown 8 to 10% growth. Now, what are the reasons? There are 3 basic reasons.
Well,
First one was technology.
Mr. Chengal Reddy.
Third is a marketing. Now you tell me one of these whether they have been made applicable to agriculture. So agriculture, agriculture is
totally agreeable, Mr. Chengal Reddy.
Farmers are in distress. So these are basically these policies. Yes,
absolutely, totally agree to what you are saying, because for the longest time it has been about the production, productivity, and never about the producer. And you're very right when you say that none of the measures have been...
they went on controlling. Please remember,
none of the measures have been long-term, clearly.
They manipulated the prices against the farmers.
Absolutely.
All these chaps in Delhi.
Mr. Khan, I want to come to you with the same question, really. Would you also blame the leadership for this? And then really what needs to be done here? Because the government for some time has been saying that they have been reacting to whatever problems or whatever presentations have been coming to them from the stakeholders, whether it is consumers, the industry, the mills, the exporters or importers, or the farmers for that matter. So what do you think here is lacking? Is it the reactions of the government instead of the actions?
I think structural reforms are required in agriculture. For example, as Mr. Changal Reddy was saying, the agriculture is declared as the state subject. However, major policies are still controlled by the central government. So what I propose is, in fact, this has been debated in many forums, that entire gamut of post-harvest activities should be brought under the central list or the concurrent list. If it is under concurrent list, for example, many states have not still undertaken the marketing reforms. As a result, the central-driven agenda of market reforms is not implemented fully by the states. So entire mindset of the agriculture system over the
Mr.
years,
Khan,
in fact,
Mr.
I studied
Khan,
in my...
You know, we have a situation today, you know, we struggle with this business of states and the center wanting to give up any control, and that's not a new thing, that is an age-old
No, I'm coming to the main point that...
But in this situation where... the question that I'm raising, that you have a situation here where the central government is virtually running 20-plus state governments. If they haven't been able to pull this through, what hope do we have?
No, let us look at the supply-demand situation. So unless there is a situation where the demand is matching the supply is matching the demand, excess supply will lead to this kind of problem from year after year. In United States, if you look at, there is an intention mapping survey, and based on the advisories are issued to the farmers, which crop they should go for, which crop they should not go for. Now the technologies are in place. In fact, few days back there was a presentation by one IT company from from Bangalore. They were saying very precisely they can map and forecast the production this year. Based on that, a decision could be taken whether the that particular crop is promoted for exports or not, and whether more acreage has to be encouraged or not. So this is one area which actually now with the available technologies, Government of India must ensure. The second is that the agriculture has to be brought under the concurrent list, or at least the marketing part and the export policy that are with the central government. Therefore, this entire agri-business activities, value addition activities, for example, there is certain situation where only the short term the prices go up because there is excess availability and there is no storage situation. So storage capacities are to be created, but at the same time, value addition at the farm gate level has to be done. So that
farm gate level. You know, it's interesting that you bring up each of these points, because we had put together an agriculture charter for change, and each of these issues that you talked about, whether it was intention matching, storage facilities, each of these we had put forward there in that charter for change that we drew up for the agriculture sector. But we're running out of time, gentlemen. Mr. Dhable, let me ask you this question now. So we're still awaiting a decision from the government with respect to the new MSP formula, and my last conversation with the Niti Aayog seemed to suggest that we're still some way from being able to understand what the government will finally do. The Finance Ministry has raised some concerns on the cost implications. But that apart, sir, you know, I come back again to the issue that today the Indian stock markets are booming. They're booming because most people seem to believe that rural consumption is going to be driving growth. They're betting on the rural theme from a market perspective, you know, whether it's the tractor segment and so on and so forth. Again, then the layperson asks that how do you explain the disconnect? I mean, how come the rural economy seems to be booming and here we're discussing the agrarian crisis?
See, you know, that is the exact point. Today we are having a situation, the agrarian crisis is a fact, it's a very great reality. As I said earlier, the National Crime Records Bureau has itself given its statistics, where it has said that more than 3 lakh farmers have committed suicide in this country, mainly due to indebtedness over the last 25 years of neoliberal policies. Number one, why has this happened? This has happened basically because of 3 or 4 reasons. Number one, the government has taken its hands off the agricultural sector. All the investment in agriculture, public investment, has been drastically reduced. And as a result, on the other hand, it has given the corporates and the multinationals free play in the agricultural sector. For example, the Narendra Modi government gave 100% FDI in agriculture. So therefore, this rapacious loot of farmers, by increasing the prices of seeds, fertilizers, insecticides, now the diesel prices, as you see, petrol and diesel, they have crossed the roof, absolutely. So therefore, every single thing of the cost of production is rising, number one. Then the secondly, as was correctly pointed out, the Modi government and even earlier, the Congress governments, etc., talked about MSP, talked about Swaminathan Commission, none of them actually implemented it. And therefore, what we have a situation where that the Swaminathan Commission formula, which is very simple, cost of production plus 50% profit to the producer. That is the simple formula. But we see all over the country that is being violated with impunity. You take Maharashtra, for example. The Maharashtra government has declared MSP for milk at 27 rupees per litre. But what is being given to the milk farmers? Only 17 rupees per litre is being given. Milk is being sold to the consumers for over 45 rupees per litre. Who is taking all this middle money? That is the question we are asking. And the All India Kisan Sabha is saying that you increase the cost given to the farmers, make it to the MSP 27 rupees, and also this middlemen who are taking all the cream, they should be skimmed off, and the consumers in the cities should also get milk at a cheaper rate. So therefore the farmers and the consumers both can be helped, provided this middlemen who are taking away all the cream can be really put in place. That is one point. Well, regarding the loan waiver, because they don't get remunerative price, the farmers go into indebtedness. Now you have a situation, just 1 minute, just 1 minute. You know, see, Mr. Nirav Modi, Mr. Vijay Mallya, Mr. Mehul Choksi, all these people run away with thousands of crores of rupees of the banks, but a farmer not being able to pay 25,000 rupees as loan, he has to commit suicide or he has to sell his land. This is the tremendous contradiction in India today, which we are all fighting against. And this is this thing of the BJP government of the Narendra Modi has made things much worse. 42% rise in farmer suicides in the last 4 years. This is the situation that all the farmer organizations, including the All India Kisan Sangharsh Samanvay Samiti, including the All India Kisan Sabha, which organized that huge long march from Nasik to Mumbai, which was covered very well, the entire Kisan Sansad that was there in Delhi, our struggle in Rajasthan led by the Kisan Sabha, in all other places, this is what the entire farmers are up in arms against the BJP Modi government.
Well, gentlemen, unfortunately, we've completely run out of time. There are several very important issues that we've raised here on this program, and we hope that the government, in partnership with other stakeholders, will be able to arrive at some sort of solution, because these are matters of national importance. But we will continue this dialogue here on CNBC TV 18 as we have been over the last 4 years. But for this evening, Yogendra Yadav, Mr. Chengal Reddy, Mr. Dhable and Mr. Khan, appreciate you joining us here on this special show. From all of us here for now, goodbye. Many thanks for watching.